power. E.T.
Welcome back to Two Film Buffs, and this is the top 10 Mandela Effects in movies. At number 10, Luke, I'm your father. This example goes beyond certified explanation. It is simply ingrained into our brains that he definitely says, Luke, I am your father, in one of the most pivotal scenes in Empire Strikes Back. Millions of us have watched this dramatic sequence endlessly, and in fact it is one of the most famous lines in cinema history. Most people would have you believe, and most cinema and other depictions in TV have shown it to say, Luke, I am your father. However, Darth Vader simply says,
No, I am your father.
A lot of people disagree with this and remember Darth Vader saying, Luke, I am your father. But given the context of what Luke Skywalker was saying, he told me you killed him, in reference to what Obi-Wan had told him previously. But what do you think? Do you think he said, Luke, I am your father? Or he said, no, I am your father? Is this just a Mandela effect? Or is it just something that simply confused our brains? At number 9, we have the Tom Cruise slide, Risky Business. Tom Cruise's classic button-down and underpants slide is so iconic that it has transcended the film that spawned it. Risky Business is now so popular, it was a meme. It represents that you sort of have the home to yourself. He slides in wearing nothing but his jocks, a shirt, and his shades, and throws all the cares away. You've seen many people replicate this scene in different scenes, each one of them sporting pretty much the same outfit. However, he wasn't actually wearing the shades. While the character might be the sunglasses Chad frequently throughout the film, and also on the poster, in this classic scene, they were absent. However, on the Saturday Night Live sketch, when the actors were reenacting this scene, they decided that the character was definitely wearing his sunglasses, so they tweaked out the outfit and the rest is just confusing history. Up next we have Hello Clarice, Silence of the Lambs. Once again, much like the Darth Vader scene, you can hear Anthony Hopkins saying this line as Hannibal Lecter when he first meets Jodie Foster's Clarice. In truth, the line was actually, "Morning." Well, that surely seems like mind-bendingly unexplainable, and it could have certainly jumped to a different dimension, right? Not exactly. You see, in the movie Cable Guy, Jim Carrey uses the line, "Hello, Clarice." This is of course understandable, given that it helps to clarify who he is doing the impression of in this scene. The same way that people take the mickey out of Christopher Walken's voice by saying, Christopher Walken. They usually say his name. But have you ever actually heard Christopher Walken say his name? What do you think at this point? Are these Mandela effects or is cinema just fucking with us? Up next we have House of Dragon from House of the Dragon. In 2022, HBO brought out a prequel series to Game of Thrones called House of Dragon. Well, that's what I thought it was called anyway, and so did a lot of people. I also distinctly remembering it being called House of Dragon because I thought, that's weird, why doesn't it have House of the Dragon? But then I thought, oh, Game of Thrones, it's not Game of the Thrones, it's Game of Thrones, House of Dragon. And it was only until I was watching TV the other day and noticed the new series that was out called House of the Dragon. I straight away just thought, this is wrong, what is going on? And it also inspired me to make this video. But please guys, for the love of God, if you remember it being House of Dragon, please comment down below just saying House of Dragon. Up next on our list we have We're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat from Jaws. Now, if you're like me, you would absolutely adore this Steven Spielberg classic. Even though I'm shit scared of sharks, I absolutely love this movie. I'm almost certain that I remember Chief Brody saying, we're gonna need a bigger boat. Because all three of them are on the boat at a time, and it seems like a collective we are gonna need this bigger boat to capture this gigantic shark. However, the line that Brody actually says to the captain,
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Again, is this due to when like other movies have like kind of interfered with the scene and done their own versions of it and they had to change the words briefly that kind of stuck in our heads and we remember it as being we're gonna need a bigger boat? Because it's always referenced like kind of when you're at sea and you're like, oh, we're gonna need a bigger boat. You don't shout to your friend who's got a smaller boat saying you're gonna need a bigger boat. Maybe that should be the thing done now, but it's usually been like a we're gonna need it. And I'm just so curious of when this changed. Did it change? Is it a Mandela effect or was it always like this? Halfway through our list and we have Beam Me Up Scotty from Star Trek. However, not one time throughout the whole of the Star Trek franchise has William Shatner ever stated out the phrase Beam Me Up Scotty. Yet we all know him to say it. Now he does have many variations of the line, but not once does he actually mention those exact wordings, beam me up Scotty, that we all remember. Again, I can chalk this down to the amount of variant times that this line had been produced. Obviously, it was loads in different ways, in different variations, which kind of tricks our minds, or the advertisers at that point, to put in "Beam Me Up, Scotty." At number 4 on our list, we have E.T. Phone Home from E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Now, this one was a tough pill to swallow, because I know for a fact that E.T. says E.T. Phone Home. And I'm pretty sure you can go through the movie, and when he's going through his little spout of shouting E.T. Home Phone and E.T. Phone Home, he does say it in that order, but it is kind of like jumbled up and it might be misheard. But apparently the line that E.T. does say is E.T. Home Phone, not E.T. Phone Home. Now, we know that E.T. doesn't talk much English throughout the movie. He does say the famous line, E.T. Phone Home, or in this case, E.T. Home Phone. And he also does say to Elliot that I'll be right here. However, I do find this Mandela effect, and I call it a Mandela effect because I do specifically remember E.T. Phone Home, because he isn't Yoda, no matter what type of depictions he has with the Star Wars world in that movie, and throughout the Star Wars movies. It just does not make sense. He says E.T. Home Phone. Everyone in the world remembers him saying E.T. Phone Home.
E.T. Home Phone.
At number 3 on our list, we have Freddy Krueger's sweater in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, this one does make a little bit more sense to me, because growing up, I did think that Freddy Krueger's outfit looked a bit odd. I mean, you'd see people dressed up with it for Halloween, or you'd see these different posters and stuff like that, and Freddy Krueger looked as if he was in a black and red striped sweater. However, it is in fact a red and green striped sweater. Don't believe me? Listen to this line, it is from the movie itself. I dreamed a bad guy in a dirty red and green sweater. A lot of people when first watching this movie would say, what's she talking about? The sweater is clearly black and red. But it is actually a very dark green, which you can see in some shots where it comes out a bit more lightly with certain colours. At number 2 on our list, we have Mirror Mirror on the Wall from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, if you're like me, I didn't really watch Snow White much growing up, but one thing's for certain, I did know the line, Mirror Mirror on the Wall, who's the fairest of them all, which has also been used throughout different scenes in cinema, like Shrek, and I'm sure there's many others, but at the moment I can just think of Shrek. But I'm pretty sure I even remember in like school plays when we was doing Snow White and stuff like that, it would be Mirror Mirror on the Wall, who's the fairest of them all. But the line is actually Magic Mirror on the Wall, in which it obviously does make a lot more sense because it is a freaking magic mirror, which is also a line that Lord Farquaad does say. However, this one did make my brain hurt a little bit. I do really remember hearing Magic Mirror on the Wall. But what do you guys think? Do you think this one's a Mandela effect, or do you think I'm just going crazy? And finally, at number 1 on our list, we have What If I Told You from The Matrix. This line is almost a meta example of the Mandela effect, given that The Matrix created some sort of subculture that spawned the very concept of this phenomenon. As you can probably predict at this stage, Morpheus never said, "What if I told you?" In fact, the actual dialogue in this scene is,
"Do you want to know what it is?"
That is not even remotely close to what we remember. However, we have been drip-fed an alternative misquote by meme culture, which has presented an edited version enough times that we believe it to be true, rather than a fact it is a simple change to fit the purpose of a meme. I do have to personally say the fact that The Matrix has a Mandela effect inside its own movie is actually quite scary and concerning that these Mandela effects are real things. But let me know what you guys think down below. Please like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.